Hi everybody, I'm Chef Alicia and we have some family in town from Puerto Rico.
Joey
and Lucy.
And today we are making something really delicious.
Pastelillos de Carne.
Pastelillos de Carne.
Yeah.
We're starting off here by putting 4 tablespoons of Achiote Oil into a pan. If you don't know how to make that, jump over to my recipe and learn because it's super simple. Next, we're adding 2 cups of Sofrito into the pan, and this is a fresh Sofrito, and there's also a recipe for that, of course, along with a 1/4 cup of tomato sauce, a pack of Sazon, and like some kosher salt, probably a 1/2 teaspoon to around a teaspoon, and some freshly ground black pepper. We are going to cook this around until it gets like all yummy and beautiful and it smells really good and you're like, oh my god, my house smells so good. And then we're gonna add in 2 pounds of ground beef, and like this is starting to smell crazy ridiculous good, and we're gonna cook this around just for a few seconds until it looks like this, and we're gonna put on a lid and let it cook for 10 minutes.
Hola.
Hello. Hola. Estamos haciendo pastelillos.
Now, during that 10 minutes, make sure that you take off the lid, take a look at it, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing in there, and this is the color that you're going to be looking for. When you get here, you're perfect. Take a little taste, see if it needs some salt, see if it needs some pepper, make some decisions and make it taste good. So leave that over there on like super low heat, just keep it warm, and we're going to make the dough. So a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, 4 cups of flour is what was already in the bowl, and then like 2.5-ish tablespoons of soft butter. And then we're just going to add in some water, like a 1/4 cup at a time, and you're kind of going to do this really fancy method of stir and smush. So stir and smush and stir, and what you're smushing is the butter. So it's kind of like when you make rolls, you know, if you've ever made homemade dinner rolls and you got to get like the butter worked into the flour and just get like a little bit of moisture. So we're going to stop here at a teaspoon of salt, a little bit of fresh ground black pepper, and back to adding our water, just a couple tablespoons at a time. And what we're looking for is it to come together. You see how it's coming together, and then we're going to add in a little bit more of that oil, and that's just for a little more flavor and a little more color.
Hey, how are you? How you doing?
Okay, so back to my dough. See, this is beautiful now. I mean, it has this gorgeous achiote oil in it, and it has beautiful flavor. We've seasoned it with salt and pepper. It's nice and soft. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on the top, a little bit on my counter, and then turn it right out onto the counter. So this dough is pretty sticky, okay? You might want to put a little flour on your hands and then knead it a little bit until you have like a smooth, beautiful dough. And once you get there, just kind of form a little circle, and then we're going to cut off pieces. So I'm using a dough knife, but you can use a butter knife or whatever. Take a little chunk of it, put a little flour on it, also flour your rolling pin, and then roll it out into a nice little circle. So if you do a plus and an X over your disc, you should be able to keep a circle, but if you can't, it's not a huge deal. Just when you fold it over, take a knife and trim the edges. Nobody's ever going to know the difference, okay? Once you get your meat in there and you fold it over, you're going to take a fork and go along the edges and flip it, go along the edges again. Make sure you flip it, and then into the oil it goes. And your oil should be nice and hot and bubbly like this. It should not be smoking. If your oil ever starts to smoke, turn it off and don't touch it. Don't touch it until it cools down. But meanwhile, there's our beautiful, beautiful deliciousness, and it is all ready to serve. Don't you want a bite? Delicious. Have a bite. That's so yummy. Enjoy.
Hi again everyone, thank you so much for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up or a like or whatever you want to call it. Also share it with all of your friends because sharing is caring. And if you're not already a subscriber, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button and be a subscriber now because you don't want to miss any of the upcoming awesomeness that's coming because it's awesomeness. And you can find me on my other social media including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, and bestbitesforever.com, which is my blog. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Happy cooking, everyone. Hi everybody, I'm Chef Alicia and I have some family in town from I spit.